Welcome back to another episode of Talking Chaos. I am the Condor. Yep. And with me today is Warlock Fred, and we have a special guest this week, Fred's wife, who we're sort of trying to figure out what we're gonna call her.
We're waiting on the poll results to find out
Yeah.
if she's going to be Khaleesi or Ursula at this moment in time.
If you guys want to go to our Patreon and participate in that poll, it's open to the public. And speaking of that, we want to thank our patrons. You guys are the reason this podcast is still in the air. And if you want credit, if you want credit for us being able to do this, go to patreon.com/talkingchaos. I had an idea for this episode, and you guys don't know what I'm bringing up. You have no idea. And to remind our viewers of the situation, I'm pretty lit most episodes. Fred's on the verge of being drunk most episodes. And his wife, what are we going to call you in the interim?
We may just go with Ursula since that's what she was introduced as until
until
poll results are
temporarily in. Ursula.
That or female guest.
Yeah.
I would also answer to that.
The only female. She's also sober. So
yep. This is my nightmare.
It's we think it's fun, but she's like an adult babysitter right now.
Yep. Someone shits their pants. We all wear diapers.
Thank you for keeping me out of traffic tonight. What I want to talk about is our first meetings. We've mentioned a few times that Fred and I have met in elementary school, but we never really have given the story of under what circumstances, how well did we know each other, any of that stuff, deep background info. And the other thing that I want to talk about, and we might have to, this may end up being part of the second half of the show. You may have to buy into our Patreon to hear the rest of this. But I'd like to hear about what Ursula thought of me the first time we met. The look that I'm getting right now. Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, Condor.
So, does Ursula know how we met, Fred?
I was gonna say, all I can think of is us meeting at school and you making fun of me for whatever fucking reason. I don't remember exactly the specifics.
I mean, he's a bird. He was jealous.
I had to turn him.
There was a
spell.
level of jealousy. Yep. Fred is the reason I'm a bird.
I really wasn't.
Maybe by season 2 I'll be a human. We'll see. Yeah, doubtful. I've grown accustomed to these wings.
I just got to keep clipping them.
Yeah, and that tag that somebody put on, that's not fun. But we met in the 5th grade. We didn't have the same.
Old, roughly.
We didn't have the same teacher, right?
No, we did.
We did. We didn't in 6th grade. That's right.
Yeah.
I believe she read us Harry Potter.
Yes. That was actually the first Harry Potter book. It had recently come out, and so which was kind of the
Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, which was the dawning of, my Harry Potter nerdom, which led me to be a wizard.
Right, yeah, that was the start of it. I literally know him before wizardry was a part of his repertoire. But it's just I didn't know if Ursula knew any of this.
Not as much in detail.
What did you know? Do you have any questions?
In elementary. Do I have a lot of questions? So I've been to your hometown. I have many questions, but it's not necessarily about how you two met.
Do you have any questions in regard to how we met?
Nope. You just answered all the things for me.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not, guys, that was not a nail biter.
Well, no, but like there aren't any other questions that you have about like were we how close were we? Like there were like 8 of us that hung out together. I can name a bunch of them. But I
Did you guys hang
remember
with the same people who everybody still hung out in high school?
Yes
some
and
of
no. There were
them
a few
did.
people that had dropped off.
Yeah. But I kind of wandered in between cliques over the course of like 8 or 9 years. Fred, as far as I remember, pretty much stayed close to his core group after 7th, 8th grade.
Give or take some, yeah.
Yeah.
There were some smattering of other places that I went.
Right. And I would like drift into his core group every once in a while, but it was pretty rare. Because I was always hanging out with really odd people doing funky things. Like I rode my bicycle a lot, so I was outside a lot, and the kids that were outside a lot tended to live rough lives, especially in the city. Like Fred said, he lived in the country, and a ton of the people that were in his core
I'd like
group.
I'd like to caveat this. You said in the city. We did not grow up in a city. We grew up in a town. There is a
Compared to
very
where
big
I came from as a child, it was the city. Because it was like 2 miles across, which was quadruple the size of the town that I had previously come from. Population of
At
the
the time,
town
it was
I
roughly
like
26,000, 30,000 people, which I personally believe is a town. It's nowhere close to a city.
I think you might be able to look this up, but I think the demographics for city distinction are like 15 to 25,000 people. I think less than that it's like village, and then before that it's town. I could be wrong, but I looked all this shit up once because I was super bored. um, but as a kid who came from a village of like 800 people, moving to where we went to school, having like gone from a class, an entire class of students that's less than 30, to my entire class of students that were in other elementary schools was like 140. It was a big deal for me. It was a
Yikes.
really abrupt change. And then very shortly I had to deal with like puberty and like showering with other kids in the gym, locker room, like weird already teenage nonsense.
Okay.
I didn't handle it very well.
I can see that from the faces that you're making.
Yeah, well, it was unpleasant for everyone
Nah, you
involved.
guys definitely grew up in a town. That was absolutely not a city.
What is that? What's the demographical distinction?
Like, you know where I'm from. If you
Yeah,
were in a city, I was in like a metro area. That's
that's what I would call that actually.
it's not.
I mean, you're one of the top 10 population density areas in the state, right?
I think so.
I'm going to take a gander and say probably. You're
You're
in
gonna really just make me spend the entire fucking episode Googling
Yeah.
shit, aren't you?
What I think is that the Condor just wants to have a little chat, tell me his story, see if he can get some sympathy. You're mistaken. I'm fresh out.
No. I just don't know I don't know what you know about us. And maybe I'm over
Him quite a
informing
bit.
you.
What you tell me.
You seem to really enjoy me as a human being.
I'm not sure that's the word that I would use.
Sarcasm is literally riddled in that statement.
Yep. I do remember the first time that we met, though.
Well, if I remember correctly, but you go ahead and tell me what it was, because my memory is less dependable than yours is.
These are facts. So I remember meeting at a store. Yeah, you walked in. I turned around because I saw somebody behind me. I was looking at clothes. I literally caught you checking me out. Or at least you were staring at me I literally saw this.
It's not uncommon for me to stare at strangers, really.
That's fair. You seem like the type.
I
And then
also
you
could have
went
been looking
over
through
to the
you.
wizard. What?
I could have been looking through you.
Nah,
Like, I space out a lot in public.
it's very possible.
I've been
And
confronted
then
on
you
it.
went over to Fred and started having a conversation with him. I very specifically remember hearing you ask, "Oh, so where's your girlfriend at?" Like, just looking around the store, because I was like, man, I am not about to deal with this. I am the only brown person up in this bitch. They're
And
like,
I distinctly remember either forgetting that detail about you and being very surprised.
oh,
I was like,
yeah,
oh, right.
Yep. The only one. The only brown person up in there. So when he's like, "Oh yeah, this is my girlfriend," I walked over, your face was exactly that, like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, you have an intimidating factor about you that's mysterious to me. But I try to keep my distance and I watch what I say the best I can.
Why? I don't know why I'm intimidating. I shouldn't be intimidating.
I don't know. I'm jealous at the same time. Like, there's nothing intimidating about me.
You're not wrong.
Like, at least Fred's got height and like baldness. Like, there's a factor there that like other people just like I'm all right.
Are you saying that I look relatively close to what some people might describe as a white supremacist?
No,
I was gonna say race enthusiast, but
Oh,
I
I mean-
suppose I like that too.
that's totally what they should be calling themselves. What
Rick's
the fuck?
enthusiast.
Yeah.
I'm RE, bro.
Like, he's pumped about his.
We do not endorse this. This is not a good idea. We are not race enthusiasts.
That's
Just
the
want to make
case.
that
The other
abundantly
ones are gonna
clear.
be real upset when they find out.
Yeah, I'm totally I'm a green pillar, man.
A
All
what?
the way. Well, they have that joke online, like red pill, blue pill nonsense, and so I'm all about the green pill, man.
Okay, you go a little bit more in depth on internet things than I do, apparently. What?
I just spend a lot of time on the internet. If you guys want to look it up, that's cool, but it's just a stupid reference that we're just gonna bypass completely.
I literally am not going to spend all fucking episode looking shit up on Google.
No, I don't want you to do that. That would be the dumbest thing in the world. I apologize to our listeners. That's a terrible idea. I take it all back. What was your childhood like? Like, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but like, how close were you with your friends in elementary school?
Do I have a story for you? Okay, so my parents, like I've said before, are pretty like militant religious. So in elementary school, until about third grade, I was in a private school that was done via my church. For like 30 kids, there was like one teacher who was like a teacher for like English or like early, like had a degree in like early childhood development.
Can I caveat this really fast before we get down this rabbit hole? I would absolutely love to do a fucking religion episode. We will bring fucking Rhodes back because she has a degree in this shit. And we will actually discuss religion to the full extent that it needs to really be torn apart too.
Right. Yeah.
Continuing the story that, as Ursula was saying.
This is a story about childhood. This isn't a story about religion, but it involves some things. Yeah. Go ahead.
Side note.
Right.
So I did that till about third grade. So in my class, there were 6 of us. I was the only girl. And then I went to a different school when that like little private school kind of fell apart because I couldn't find a teacher to be like a certified for like a school. And then I went to a charter school. So after that, I had to remake new friends, but that only lasted 2 years. And then I had to go to the place that I am from, like that you would call, a huge city,
Right.
and make new friends again.
You went to, at that point, you were in public school.
Yes.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
graduated from public school.
Yes. So I because I had to go to church every Sunday until I was 18, I am still friends with those people from that church school. Everybody who is in that school, nobody's like overly successful. Everybody's a little weird, but we all kind of understand each other because we were all in that little basket together.
Right. The
So,
elementary school that I came from originally, like that I spent like kindergarten through 5th grade or half of 5th grade at, was the best performing school in one of the southernest counties in our state. So it was like the
So
smartest
rural as fuck.
hillbillies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like the
smartest
smartest
hillbillies. Rural as
hillbillies.
fuck.
It
Smartest
was
hillbillies in the
very,
state. Gotcha.
I'm not even joking. Like,
All these
everybody loves to hunt down there. There were a ton of fucking kids that, like, half of my class would be gone opening day
oh yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
And I'm
So-
just like, how the fuck is this okay?
Yeah, so where we went to high school, it was acceptable, it was acceptable as far as like we had to like be at school for opening day, right? Like
You did?
Yeah, we had to be
We
at school
didn't.
for opening day.
No,
Yeah,
they
no,
closed my
this
school
original
down.
school, it was totally optional. At that point, they had given in because they were like,
Oh,
statistically, more than half of these students aren't even going to be here.
yeah,
So
but
it
they
was
didn't
like,
close the school down. They didn't say this is an
we
official we are
didn't do
closing the
either.
school down for this day.
But when I
Which-
came to class that day, all we did was watch movies. I will tell you that right now.
I'm not going to argue with you on that point simply because nobody was fucking there that day.
Then why would you go?
I mean,
Ursula, did you watch a lot of movies in school? Like in class? Like AV, whoever would pull the TV in and you'd like watch a VCR, whatever the fuck?
I went to actually quite a few different schools, but not really. Like, I don't have a lot of memories of it.
We watched a shitload of movies. Like, bullshit stuff too. Like, here, we're gonna watch Jurassic Park because it's science-y.
Oh no.
I've seen
how
Jurassic
did I
Park
miss
like
out on this shit? Fuck.
15 times in school. I swear to God.
No, one time we watched Talladega Nights in my class, and I was the person who brought it in. It was my fault.
That's a beautiful story. I don't know
Yeah.
how nobody would have got away with that in my school.
Yeah, I forgot that I brought the unrated one,
I mean,
or like the unrated option.
All right.
It wasn't that bad. It was still just, Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell.
Do you guys have
there are
favorite?
absolutely a couple of teachers we could have pulled off. Like, hey, you want to do a movie day this day? We're already caught up on our curriculum. Like, you want to do a movie day this day? And brought in whatever the fuck we had.
Absolutely, that's what we did.
Right. That's gonna segue really well into this next question I have. What were your guys' favorite teachers? Like, what grade and what do you remember why they were your favorite teacher? You don't have to say their name, but like 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade English, or whatever the fuck you can think of.
See, that's rude as fuck.
No, I know.
Why?
All right, go ahead.
It was my economy class, my senior year, maybe junior, senior year. This teacher was the best. Because we were talking about the Great Depression, she let us watch Cinderella Man to show the difference. Yep. Another suggestion that I made. But yeah, no, she actually taught us like how the voting system worked. She taught us about taxes. She taught us about like buying houses and the economy and things like that other schools don't really teach.
Things that we discussed in our education episode that absolutely should be, at least according to James, or no, not James, John. It was fucking John. Why am I?
Jacob.
Yeah,
John.
At least that John
John
says
C.
that should,
Fremont.
yeah, that he feels should be taught within the at home. Like
Maybe, but like that was his argument. I don't know. Did you have a favorite teacher? Could you think of one? Or were you too busy remembering what John C. Fremont said in the other episode?
I like to tie it in sometimes, you know, it happens. So for me, it's kind of a tie between like three of them.
Okay.
Like I had like, was it? It was either sophomore or junior year. No, it was definitely either junior or senior year. I'm
Does
sorry.
this teacher's last name start with a D? Science teacher?
No.
Okay.
We'll talk offline on that.
Yeah.
No, there was a mythology teacher that I loved. There was a like English teacher that I loved, and then there was the mystery detective, like, or at least I took the like mystery detective elective.
What?
Which she also taught, I believe, the senior like course. Like no, it was like
what is that? What is that? Like, why are you
mystery detective elective?
Okay,
I believe it was mystery detective / sci-fi, if I'm correct.
They may have been different courses. Like, so I believe that it was one semester was mystery. Let it happen. You had a graduating class of like 64.
Yeah.
We had a graduating class of 264.
Yeah.
At the second high school I went to, yeah.
But so mystery detective was more about like Sherlock Holmes and shit like that. Whereas sci-fi, if I remember correctly, was more about like I never took sci-fi, so I don't know.
The other part of mystery detective she brought up, if I remember who you're talking about, was Agatha Christie. So it was like all around detective novels, like mystery solving, observational, logical problem solving stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we spent like there were days where we watched fucking CSI and it was great.
Oh yeah, I took that same class. I just didn't take it with you. Because everybody told me how dope that class was.
No,
Again, we spent.
It was literature.
Okay, that's I didn't hear the lit part.
Yeah, no,
all
it
I
was
thinking
it was an
was
elective.
Like,
yeah.
Do 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 do. You guys are in school, like in full high school. Walking around.
We're gonna watch Scooby Doo. Figure out who the coal miner is this episode.
Yeah, that's for real what I thought of.
Oh my god, that's okay. If you guys want to hear more about how this episode is going to end, check out the full bush at patreon.com/talkingchaos. Thanks for checking us out and hanging out with us today.